Welcome to Berwick-upon-Tweed, a town in Northumberland at the mouth of the River Tweed. We're 2.5 miles south of the border with Scotland, and in the northernmost town in England. There are 3 bridges over the River Tweed here. The most interesting of the bridges is the Royal Border Bridge in the background. We will get a closer look at that one later in the video. On the south bank is Tweedmouth. It's part of Berwick-upon-Tweed, however today we're just going to explore the walled town of Berwick on the north bank. One of Berwick's most distinctive features is the almost intact town wall that still surrounds most of it. This is where I'm staying tonight, a relatively new Premier Inn, opened in February 2020, on the site of the former Playhouse Cinema. The Queen's Head Hotel, a traditional 6-bedroom hotel, dates back to the 18th century and began life as 2 coaching inns, the Nag's Head and the Old Nag's Head. In the 1950s, the 2 properties were combined. The King's Arms Hotel, a Grade 2 listed building, once visited by Charles Dickens, Lewis Carroll and the Beatles. A former theatre opened in 1928, becoming Caesar's Palace nightclub in the 1970s, and then a bingo hall. Around 2015 it was converted into residential, offices and shops. It's partly occupied by Amran's Indian Kitchen and Grill. Woolmarket Vintage Department Store, over 2 floors. You'll find a treasure trove of vintage and antique furniture. Pictures, jewellery, clothing and collectibles. A town hall has stood on this site since at least the 16th century. This building in neoclassical style stands at the south end of Marygate. Until the 1830s, the Guild of Freemen governed civic affairs from this building. A guided tour of the town hall allows you to visit the jail and the reconstructed Old Town courtroom. The Brewer's Arms, dating back to 1905, famed for its Art Deco glazed front, funnel-shaped windows and a set back doorway. Unfortunately, since filming, this pub has closed and is waiting new tenants. Trouble at the gate. Apparently sometimes the guards were suspicious, believing people were trying to trick their way through. The Jubilee Fountain is located next to the Scotsgate Arch. Part of the inscription reads, to commemorate the 16th anniversary of Queen Victoria's accession to the throne, presented June 20th, 1887. Looking towards Meg's Mount, an area that I didn't visit on this trip. We're now at the bottom of Hyde Hill and going to make our way to the lighthouse. Berwick is famous for its hesitation over whether it's part of Scotland or England. Some people are adamant they're English and their loyalty lies with Northumberland, while others feel an affinity with Scotland. Berwick Pier, built between 1810 and 1825 by John Rennie, and in 1826 the lighthouse, to designs of Joseph Nelson. The pier extends into the harbour mouth for about half a mile, protecting the mouth of the Tweed from the sea. Just north of the pier here is Little Beach. This sandy beach is popular with dog walkers, bird lovers, and if you're lucky you might spot some dolphins. At a height of 13.5 metres, the lighthouse is a major landmark in the town, and the distinctive red and white colouring has featured in many pictures and photographs over the years, as well as the iconic painting by Lowry. The Baltic Express is a general cargo ship, built in 2001, some 80 metres long and currently sailing under a flag of St Kitts and Nevis. All cargo is contained within the hold. As a result, the Baltic Express is less affected by harsh weather, and is owned by a timber company. In the 18th century, here at Fisher's Fort, a battery of 6 cannons guarded the mouth of the River Tweed against attack from enemy ships. Coxon's Tower is one of the last of the 2 remaining original medieval towers on the famous walls which surround Berwick. The tower, which is not normally open to the public, opened for a weekend in September this year. Berwick-upon-Tweed's position, long held to be a nominal border between the 2 countries, led to the town changing hands no fewer than 14 times in the 2 centuries up to 1482. This wooden fox sculpture is dedicated to Dr. Simon Heald, who died in 2020, proprietor of the Slightly Fox Bookshop. Filmed at the end of February, the daffodils are just coming into flower. This is the entrance to one of Berwick's largest ice houses. Built around 1790, the ice was used for packing fish, particularly salmon, in crates to be transported to London. The ice was sourced locally if the winter had been severe enough, but usually was imported from Norway. Ice houses were still being used in the 1930s, and Bank Hill was designated an air raid shelter during the Second World War. Salmon net fishing on the River Tweed can be traced back to the 12th century. Up to the 1980s, salmon fishing employed hundreds of men annually on a seasonal basis. Here's the Royal Tweed Bridge, but in the background you see the Royal Border Bridge, which carries the East Coast Main Line Railway on 28 arches 38 metres above the river, opened by Queen Victoria in August 1850. The Leaping Salmon pub, a Father Witherspoon's pub until 2016, built in 1798 as an elementary school, from which boys passed to the grammar school for higher education. It's time for a beer and something to eat. Well, after a very good night's sleep, I'm back at the car park where the tour began. I hope you enjoyed this visit to Berwick-upon-Tweed. Next stop is another walled city, York, with the Roman roots and a Viking past. Keep an eye out for that video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, enable notifications so you don't miss the next episode. See you next time.